Flatliners is a reimagining of the original film, not a sequel, even though kind of claims that were different, that it was a sequel, and Kiefer Sutherland is in this movie, but he doesn't play the same character. And it is really bad.
Midnight basement, sublevel C.
What's going on?
I would like you to stop my heart. You give it 1 minute, and then you bring me back.
Okay, now's the point where you say it's all a joke.
So the idea for the film is that there are all these doctors in training, and Ellen Page is the main one, and she has some tragic event in her past, and she wants doing research on near-death experiences, and she wants to give one to herself, and flatline and have them bring him back, and so they in like an MRI so they can look at what happens in the brain. And the setup for the film is kind of cool, and like they're doing like the research and they're seeing, oh look, there's like a spark right there, oh there's something going on there, and like looks like they're actually doing research. But it's so odd, after the first one, all the other doctors want to do it like, oh, you got all enlightened superpowers, I want to flatline too. What about brain damage? Oh, don't worry about that. I'm sure we're just nothing wrong. I'm sure it's just all good. Let's do it. Let's kill ourselves. And it's like they're so stupid, and they're supposed to be doctors. And there's also like this whole thing that, they're killing this person that flatlines. And they all go, oh, we shouldn't do this, we could have a loser go to jail or whatever. And they never even think about, that they're violating the Hippocratic Oath. They're killing someone, even to bring it back. And it's a really goofy character, too. They have Diego Luna. Like, he is more the serious doctor, and he's the one that doesn't flatline, but helps them bring him back. But the first time we're introduced to him, he's doing something that, again, might violate the Hippocratic Oath. Like, he tells the one guy, James Norton, that the patient needs testicular exam, and the guy tried to give it to him. He's like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, he needs a neurological scan, not a testicular exam. I'm such a bad boy. And the other two characters finishing out the group is Nina Dobrev and Kiersey Clemens. And they're just all not likable. Like, there's only one likable character, and that character, some stuff happens with that character, and it's annoying. And it's like, the film is just, doesn't know what it wants to be. Like, it's like, a college party drama, or a party film, and then it's like a medical drama, and then it's like a horror film. It's just like, it doesn't know what it wants to be, and doesn't do any of those things well. Like, the tone is so all over the place. Like, with like how when they're flatlined, they're all like, oh, they're like on a drug, and like, we need a bottle flatlining. It's like, you're killing people, and no matter what, even if it's not permanent brain damage or like life-threatening brain damage only after 5 minutes, like, you're still damaging your brain. And never even like discuss it. They never even like wait to say, oh, let's do more scans in your brain, see how you're doing. Like, never even like try to do any of the medical things that you think they do. And it's just like, it's so annoying. It's so like, it's bad. And when the horror aspects start popping up, you could do some really interesting things with it. You say that, when they're flatlining, they're skirting between life and death, and when they came back, they brought something with them. That could be a really interesting movie. What they did with it is just stupid. And even when they do the horror, they don't play it for like the creepiness of the horror, they play it like for the jump scare. And they're not good jump scares. And a lot of times they're like the fake jump scares where like some sort of ghostly apparition will appear behind the character. And it's like, it's trying to scare the viewer. But like, he didn't see it. How is that scary for the person? They didn't see it. Like, only we saw it. And it's just it's so amateurish and bad. But to talk about like the worst parts of the film, I do have to spoil it. So if you don't want to see any spoilers, I give it like a 4 out of 10 at most. Probably maybe less than that. But it is not a good movie. Stay away from it. And I think thankfully most of the people have, because they did some really shady things with this movie, because when they didn't show it to any critics, any of the news people, and that they didn't even do Thursday showings to try to avoid word of mouth. Because the film company, knew that this movie was so bad, they wanted to try to minimize anyone talking about it, so that maybe people would go see it and they get some money from them. Even though, and that's really shady, and it is a bad film. But on the spoilers, so at a certain point, like, you get that each of these characters, they have guilt, and the flatlining is like manifesting the guilt. But then the thing is that they don't say whether it's hallucinations or if they're actually real manifestations. Because, like, they say, like, oh, maybe we brought a demon back, but then they never mention it again. And there's a thing, like, where, like, someone have a camera that the one character is killed. And she, like, was filming herself beforehand, and they're like, oh, there's someone else there. And I think, oh, they're going that route. I'm like, no, they're not. And, like, they think, like, if you do it like that, like, if it's supposed to all be hallucination, then you have to film it differently. Because later, Nina Dobrev, like, when she's being haunted by a guy she murdered by not seeing what other pills, what medication he's taken, and then she, like, went into the records and deleted the records to protect herself. Like, she is in the car driving, and the guy is, like, suffocating her with a bag. And, like, then they show that, and then they show her just driving, like, ah. So they're showing that that's not actually happening. She's just hallucinating. But then other times when they do the ghosts, they don't show, like, two versions of it. Like, Ellen Page, she is grabbed and dragged across the floor. And how would that be hallucination? And the funny thing is, they could have done that, because they could have shown the viewer like she was being dragged, but then later when the phone was still recording, and they could have shown her, like, doing a reverse crab walk or something, so that she is, that she was hallucinating even then. And, like, and again, when she was killed, her little baby sister pushed her off the fire escape. And again, that's not a hallucination. Then she would have just fallen. But again, like, if you're a little sister, like, why is she? I mean, yeah, she was distracted driving, but she wanted to talk to the sister when she sees her instead of going, oh no. And it's bad. It gets even weirder with the other students, because Kiersey Clemens, her guilt is that she hacked this other girl's computer that was competing for a valedictorian with her, and spread all across the high school the naked pictures of her and stuff or whatever. And, like, that's the one that's haunting her. And it's like, so it's not even dead? And then you get even more, because the one guy, James Norton, he's like, there's like an aborted baby haunting him and the mother. But, like, this stuff happens where, oh, the mother's not dead, and he didn't have an abortion. So is all the guilt. And it's like they have the whole thing where they have to go on a quest to get the people to forgive them and to forgive themselves. And it's like, forgive me. Oh, okay, I forgive you. Oh no, I'm not gonna die now. I'm so happy. Oh no, I'm so happy. And it's like, so you have anything you're guilty for? So what are they still haunted by this guilt monster? Like, if they do something else bad, will it come haunt them, or are they now cured? And they do this thing, like, toward the end, like, the guy's playing the piano, like Ellen Page did earlier, and they're like, oh, he's just playing the piano, we're fine. And I thought that they're going to do a double ending. And, usually I hate double endings, but here I would have really enjoyed a double ending, because what they did with it was so stupid. Like, none of them really faced consequences for what they did. Like, the one girl, even Nina Dobrev, she did something absolutely horrible that should make it so that she could never be a doctor. And, like, the guy, he goes to confess it, and is like, okay, we'll just suspend you for a little bit, and then you'll be fine. And it's like, really? You're gonna let her be a doctor after what she did? And it's so weird. But probably the worst part of the film, the weirdest thing, is that it's like it's supposed to be a happy ending, and you have Diego Luna and Nina Dobrev with Ellen Page's computer and like all the research that they've done. And they at least for the first one, they didn't seem to be doing too much research for the later ones, but they're like, okay, they're tossing the laptop into the water off the bridge, and it's like, that's what she died for this. She died to get research about near-death experiences, and you're just going to toss out her research. Like, shouldn't you feel guilty about that? It's a piece of shit. Stay away from it. It's not a good movie. They give it, again, 4 out of 10, maybe 3 out of 10. It's not a good movie. Thanks for watching. You check out other review players around my head or subscribe to me over here. Thanks.